This will be quite a different general annual meeting.
It is indeed. It is our first almost digital AGM ever. Normally today I would have been in front of maybe 400, 500 shareholders physically. Today instead we're making a smaller filmed version where we will share some of the progress and some of the core activities that we've been seeing in Alfa Laval during 2019. But we're not so far away from where we usually are. We are still in Lund. We are in what surely is the largest factory worldwide for plate heat exchangers. It is also the site for what is the world's leading technology center for heat transfer solutions. So a lot of our planning for new generations and new technology is happening here at this site.
Let's talk a little bit about the organic growth, your strategy the last 3 years.
Organic growth has been the core of our strategy for the last 3 years, certainly during 2019. We are engaged in almost all of the important sustainability trends. So it's not only an opportunity for us, I think it's also an obligation for us to invest, to participate, to support and drive that development. Here in Lund, obviously, a lot is related to the energy sector, to energy efficiency solutions, to heat recovery solutions. We are participating in so many more other areas in wastewater applications and in the marine technologies that we are really set up very well to drive the organic growth, and that's why we put priority to it.
I know service is close to your heart. Tell me about your service business.
The service is a very important part of what we are doing and our long-term strategy as well. The real glue between us and our customers is in our service organization. That's where the daily contacts exist over a longer period of time. The challenges in a company like this sometimes is that we tend to get more technology-oriented than service-oriented and more project-oriented than service-oriented. And so we have a big and long-term broad-based change program for driving the service culture in our company. Even sometimes it includes redesigning our products. Some of the product range that we have was maybe not developed primarily with serviceability in mind. And there are instances where we need to go back all the way to the drawing board and think anew about how is the product designed in terms of making it easy to serve for us and for our customers in the product's lifetime. And I figure we could look at an example of that from our technology center in outside Lyon, and you will see what I mean.
The secret behind the Alfa Laval CompaBlock Plus design is the groundbreaking plus seal sealing concept. It makes it possible to deliver the Alfa Laval CompaBlock high efficient performance at even higher pressures. Maintenance have never been easier or safer for your team, thus giving you the opportunity to have lower shutdown time. Like all Alfa Laval CompaBlock units, it features removable panels that makes the plate pack fully accessible. And then mechanical cleaning, inspection, and even gasket replacement can be done without the need to move the unit from its location.
Do you see any results of your service efforts?
Well, on the one hand, I would say this is a long-term journey, so we are by no means finished. There's lots of programs ongoing, lots of improvements still to be made. With that said, we did get a good leverage on what we've done so far in 2019. We had the highest growth pace in our service business, I think, that we ever had. We also have, I think, to a much larger degree, good customer feedback and good customer stories about where we are helping out and solving problems, sometimes a little bit beyond the normal daily work of a service organization. So I feel quite good where we are, realizing that we have still a lot to do.
You also have technology as an important part of your strategy area.
Yeah, we are indeed a technology-driven company here, and we are investing relatively massively in our R&D. We increased substantially over the last few years. Approximately 2.5% of our turnover goes into R&D investments. We had in 2019 well over 50 product launches, some smaller, some bigger. In fact, some of them coming here from Lund, where we stand, where we are in the midst of replacing a whole range of gasketed plate heat exchanger into a new generation. I would like to take you to a product center in Kolding for fluid handling technologies, where we just recently have launched a new valve control unit. It's called ThinkTop. It is a wonderful new product, I think with enormous customer values in mind, and I think we should just take a look at it.
We have listened and we have learned. Decades of collected data and fieldwork experience have brought us to this point. We can reveal that the ThinkTop has been rethought. Based on your input, the new ThinkTop is now intuitive. With an auto setup feature, it thinks for you. You told us speed was of the essence. It's fast. Installation takes place in seconds. Adaptability was key for all of you. The new ThinkTop can fit onto any Alfa Laval valve, making it perfect for all retrofits. It's also smart, 24/7 self-diagnostic with a 360-degree indication. It was key to future-proof the ThinkTop. It's now years ahead of the competition. Even if we say so ourselves, it's all been put together rather beautifully.
Technology is obviously used for new products, but it's also used in many other areas of our operations. So manufacturing process development is an important part of what we do. The Industry 4.0 forms part of our technology agenda. But we also have some significant challenges when it comes to materials and to metallurgy. And especially here in the heat transfer area where we are today, we are facing some big challenges on the sustainability applications that are forcing us to find new ways of dealing with those challenges. And partly we do that very well with the material lab that we have here, but we're also working with a lot of partnerships with academic institutions, among others. And we are blessed of having Lund University, the technical university here at our doorsteps. They've been driving a lot of investments into an important particle accelerator that we are now using for some of the challenges that we need to better understand in the development of new products. So we are almost close to basic research here. I figured let's take a look at what we've done there.
The idea here is to study the oxide of stainless steel. And what protects our customers from corrosion is the nanometer thick chromium oxide on the surface. So we want to understand the oxide, what it looks like, how it behaves, basically to improve our product so our customers can be more efficient. This very deep understanding is a possible way of new ways to innovations. One part is also to stay ahead of our competitors. They're not doing this, they don't have the resources to do this kind of experiments right now, so we are ahead of them. The most interesting part is, of course, to see stuff that nobody has seen before.
Your investments level has been high these last years. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we decided already 2016 that we needed to redo a lot of our manufacturing footprint, and that has been a 4-year process that is to a degree coming to a completion during this year, 2020. We went from a lower spending level of 600-700 million SEK per year to a peak last year, approximately 1.5 billion SEK. You can rightly ask, what do you get for the money? I'd like to show you one example, which has been a very important project for us when we decided to move the manufacturing of decanters out of our facility in Copenhagen and down to a manufacturing center in Krakow, Poland. We're now completed with the project. Krakow is fully up and running, and the Copenhagen site will remain crucial for us as a technology centers for decanter, for customer visits, for R&D. When it comes to the whole program, we completed a whole host of projects during these years, both in the United States and in China. And we have still 2 important projects to finish during 2020. It is in northern Italy and in India. And with those 2 projects completed early 2021, the whole footprint program has been brought to completion. And we expect that we will be back to some sense of normality when it comes to our CapEx spending from 2021 and onwards, and to a degree actually already in 2020.
What is your view on sustainability?
It's quite interesting in the situation we are now with the pandemic ongoing, which in itself is obviously a very tragic scenario. At the same time, if there's any positive aspects of it, it is that it decreases the negative impact we have on planet and the environment as large. And obviously, that's not an economically sustainable solution. So as we restart in 2020 and 2021 going back to normal activity, I think we need to continue to drive the investments into the sustainability solutions even stronger and harder and faster than we have done in the past. And Alfa Laval will be at least a small part in progress in that. One of the most interesting environmental applications that we are onto is coming from the renewable energy sector, where increased volatility of energy production from wind and solar forces us to find a way to store energy in a reasonably economic and environmental friendly fashion. And we believe that thermal energy storage is a really, really interesting solution for the future. Why don't we take a look at a concept with our partner company called Malta, where we are co-investors and technology partners in trying to make this happen.
Renewable power is cheaper than carbon-intensive sources of power, than fossil fuels. The problem with renewables is sometimes there's too little of it when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow, and sometimes there's too much of it. The missing link was low-cost, long-duration storage, and Malta was really that solution. The answer really lies in thermal storage in Malta.
What we pretend to do here is make batteries without batteries, but with lots of heat exchangers. Where do we store the electricity that we put in? We store these in molten salt tanks. We can heat them up to 565 degrees centigrade and store energy as heat in them. Basically, we have this 4 tanks. These are the hot salt tank, the cold salt tank, and the 2 coolant tanks. This is the turbo machinery, and these are heat exchangers from Alfa Laval.
Let's turn the perspective and look at the internal sustainability.
It's not right to sell sustainable solutions to customers and ignoring your own house. So obviously we are spending significant effort on the key aspects of sustainability also internally. When it comes to our own manufacturing processes, we are striving to get to carbon neutrality relatively soon. Today, we've managed to drive our volumes in manufacturing up over a number of years at the same time as we are decreasing our energy consumption. And at this point in time, most of our energy consumption is renewable. The second aspect that we're working a lot with is safety at work. Too many incidents and too many accidents leading to people staying home from work. And I think we start to see a bit of a shift related to a lot of training, some investments, a lot of awareness among our employees. We are on a good trend. We are still on a too high level, but 2019 was a step forward for us. The third aspect that I'd like to touch briefly on is the question of gender balance and equality at work, if you like. We are still on the level of approximately 20% females. What was encouraging for us in 2019 was that we continue to have an increased level of female managers. So while 20% of our employees remains stable, the share of female managers is now 30%. And I'm happy to see that it's a very organic process. It's not driven by any particular process. It's driven by talent and merits, and we see a 5% increase in the share of managers in the company being female in 2019, and that was a good step forward for us.
I suppose that 2020 will be a quite different year than you had expected.
Well, it certainly is a turbulent year. We did not see, obviously, the pandemic coming. We just released our Q1 report. We still had a fairly good quarter. It was a fairly stable demand situation during the first quarter. We've been able to deliver and invoice our order book according to more or less to plan. So our operations team have done a fantastic job during difficult circumstances to keep our operations going in places like China, Italy and India, which all have been severely affected by the pandemic, and under difficult circumstances, they've done a great job. Then looking forward, I think the main challenges from a business point of view is in the coming quarters. We are, I think, in that sense, well prepared. We are coming into 2020 in relatively good shape from a cost point of view and from a headcount point of view. So we are not all that off when it comes to the challenges we have to meet. We also came in very early with the cost reduction program which is focused on managing our cost base with flexibility. We are doing our best to actually maintain the workplaces that we have during a period which we hope will be relatively short, and we can find a good way out of it towards the end of the year. Well, the closing comments are obviously related to the situation we are facing, the crisis we're going into. For us, I'd like to put the pandemic into sort of a context. It is, of course, very specific when it comes to the virus and the corona situation. But for us in the company, this is a typical crisis situation. The crisis consists of a lot of uncertainty in terms of demand and where markets are going. Uncertainty is about disruption in supply chains and in geopolitics, and a whole host of nervousness in capital markets about where the world is going and what is tomorrow going to be. We've been working through crisis before. We have the toolbox. We know what to do. We are coming into this crisis with a very strong balance sheet. We have strengthened the balance sheet over the last 3 years significantly, and all in all, as a management team, we are confident in terms of where we are. And I'm very pleased to see where we are and how receptive our organization is to find a new way of dealing with this situation that we have right now. So I would like to express a big gratitude to our employees for the work that they are doing, and also to our shareholders for giving us the support that we need at this time to be strong into the crisis, but more importantly, be strong out of the crisis. So with that, thank you very much.